Hello everybody, my name is Troublmaker, and this is Wargame AirLand Battle. This is a 10v10 match, which, I've been doing this for 2 years now. Well actually, in a month, I'll have been doing this for 2 years now, casting Wargame, of course, and I've never casted a 10v10 match. Haven't had interest, because 10v10 matches are not coordinated. They're giant public blobs of nothing. But this one's special. We have a 10v10 with a community challenge, Reddit versus 4chan. So on the NATO side today, we'll have 4chan with Master Month, Yugoslavian, Mixstomper, Mardo, Raz, Rig Reaper, Not Saga, Japanese characters Kush, Clayboy2, Rents, and Bong King. And from Team Reddit, we have Coral 007, JR is Junior, LTJD, Captain Fulwa, Stripe Zebra, MPC 314, Tor 666, Johnny 2306, Omega Man, and Civil Guardian on a 10v10 match. So 10v10 is all about bulk, macro tactics. It's about everyone working together to do the exact same thing you do in a 1v1 scenario, except with bulk. Now, this map in particular has basically 3 flanks. You have your southern flank, you have your middle flank, and you have your northern flank. And how the game works in public and how it works in organized games will be completely different. We've not really had many organized 10v10s. It's very rare. So for this one, usually you'd see, 3 people on this area trying to take 1, 2, 3 type thing. And then in the middle you usually have 2 going for this. And then you probably have 3 for here. And then you have your extra guy, extra 2 guys doing things like support. But this is an organized game, so how this works out will be pretty unpredictable. Starting off right away, we'll notice that we have some Tomcats coming out. And I just took a bunch of screenshots accidentally. Oh boy. Tomcats are a radar fighter, which means they have retardedly long range and would be able to shoot down any air superiority fighters that are coming out, as well as a lot of helicopters. And we're noting as well an F-15 Eagle coming out from Mixstomper. Now, the F-15 Eagle is an actual air superiority fighter. It can actually take down helicopters. These Tomcats are inherently designed for taking out other planes. It's a little bit of a balancing act here. And, we're seeing a small push up here by Team Reddit into the middle, wanting to get the early advantage. Going to go ahead and grab this single base here, which has a reinforcement point inside here. If you put infantry behind this mountain, it's very easy to clobber it, and you can move infantry through the woods very slowly here. We'll have to see if that comes into play eventually or not. Actually, look at this MiG-31 spinning around. This is the packed equivalent of the Tomcat, except this one doesn't have anything but the radar weapons, so we'll have to see if you get some decent hits. There's a pretty sizable T-55 rush coming here. 20 T-55s coming in. Going to try and rush down. There's a command moving forward with the napalm. And, well, we have a counter rush here by Marto. And I don't mean counter rush in the sense that, oh, it's a rush, let's rush as well. He is planning to do this anyway. And this is a big, giant conga line of very dangerous stuff. You have Leopard 2A4s, Marto Roland 2, tracked rapiers, all that good stuff. And T-55s in close combat can do a pretty high amount of damage. So he knows it's here. What a good player will do will set up these tanks to intercept and engage. He has to have various flanks. The BO-105CB, however, will provide vision. The T-55s will not get the first shot off. They will get the second shot. Chieftain's leading the charge. These are cheap vehicles. And he's actually moving his Leopard 2s away. Not wanting to reveal too much of his hand. Potentially not wanting to get much damage. Oh, I see what he's doing. He's going to move the Leopard 2s around Quebec. Grab this base, not get this command. On the northern flank, we have another tank rush as well. Pivots, Leopard 1A101s, Leopard 2s. Pretty beastly, and there's actually nothing here to defend this. These T-72s are kind of the wrong choice for this particular situation. As a rule, if you're going to push, if your plan is to be aggressive and push, you go for tanks because they have high armor and they can soak a lot of damage. If you are going to defend, you go for anti-tank weapons and infantry and anti-air. In this particular scenario, there's just way too many tanks here, actually. Abrams, Leopards, Leopard 2s here. This is actually, looks like 3 people pushing here. And on top of this, Bong King apparently getting out of this. T-55s revealing their backside now. but also revealing the backside of the enemy. Not going to be particularly good. Getting hit by in all directions here. AA is desperately trying to survive here from Rents, and these Leopard 2s should be able to wipe at this command as well, which will give them a slight less bleed. Because right now Team Reddit is completely bleeding out 4chan, and we'll have to see how this pans out here, but this push is brutal. There's a lot of big heavy tanks here. These Leopard 1A10s are nice, cheap option for something to take damage, and actually able to wipe out the only tank here. The BMP 1D will not be able to stand ground here. It is a very potent anti-infantry vehicle, but not particularly good at anything else. Abrams surprisingly going to come along and try and cover the flank. And we have some air support coming in. Tunguska's offloading. Oh my god, gets one of these ices, and here comes a bunch of bombers and yaks, and oh, this is going to be bad. He's got to get more targets. Flak Panzer driving away. He's actually not going to drop his payload. That is bad. That is really, really bad. Going to have to retreat. He doesn't have enough health to continue on. And looks like we need to see some defensive positions here fast. This reinforcement point has to start bringing out things that are defensive. That is AT. Because this tank ball is converging with this tank ball. We're going to see the perfect tank ball. You know, like that movie, The Perfect Storm? Except with tanks. And this is about 6 players here. Give or take, you know, this is a lot of forces, and on a 10v10, when 6 players are pushing one side, that should be an easy sign to you to push other sides, because when you look at this side here, there's nothing here. There's nothing in the southern flank. It's all just empty waste. You should be pushing this area when you see this giant ball, or helping defend this, because once this tank ball dies, they have nothing left. But right now, it's a little bit of panic here from Team Reddit. They're rallying out T-62, followed by a little bit of AT and a Furams trying to recapture this Papa base, or maybe capture it in the first place. And they've stopped their bleeding at 164. If they can survive a defensive position here at Uniform, that's weird. I've never seen a 10v10 map letters, you know. Anyway, I'm making a fool of myself. If they can hold this area, they might be able to survive by pushing to south, but they gotta hold this area. They have to get in and use the terrain effectively. So, oh my god, those anti-radar mothballs so good. Knocked down one though, however. There is some Tunguska also behind enemy lines. A little bit weird. So this map has a little bit of funny stuff to it. There is only one entrance here, and one here, obviously. And so if you place AT right here, they'll sucker right in. But very hard to hit themselves. And you can also try and hit from angles, like right here. Sorry, not there. Right here, I should say. So that when they come in, you get some side shots and deal some bonus crits on these tanks. And that's what it's going to be all about now. Setting up your AT positions effectively for those nasty crits. And unfortunately, LLDID not really paying attention. He's going to run his UAZ straight into a pile of tanks. And look at the visibility here. He only saw that the second that he creeped in. Very, very strange things about this game. That's one of them. And I think it's finally coming in like, oh my god, we have nothing. And it's only one player rallying out tanks. He's got 2 T-80 BBs, and looks like we're going to see some anti-air units coming in as well. 2 OSAs and a flamethrower tank. Flamethrower tank is going to do very well here. Unfortunately, it's not there in time. It needed to be there when I was talking about the preparation phase. A flamethrower tank right here would have been brilliant. They could have flamed this, got good AoE damage on everything. Just not going to work, and a T-80 BV in the open is going to do very, very poorly against an AT Close and this ridiculous number of tanks. Generally speaking, the T-80s want to be at the highest possible range, and that's the only advantage they really have. This anti-radar is taking out a lot of their anti-air units, so if they can continue doing this, they might be able to get some decent air assaults. You might notice I'm secretly cheering for Team Reddit here, and we'll go in for another wave. Not really much as far as radar here. Now, to beat anti-radar units, the big key here, of course, is to turn off your radar. You can just click them off where it says on at the bottom. Just turn that off, and that works. And here comes a lot of Delphins, and looks like what kind of bombing pattern we're going to have here. What kind of bombing pattern? We got 1, 2, 3, basically close to 4. We have what appears to be a fire extinguisher pattern here. Kind of ironic, it is fire, giving a fire extinguisher pattern. And it's actually very good napalm. Unfortunately, napalm is not going to be very good against this kind of tanks. They need some really hard-hitting Sackflow's missiles for this, because this is brutal. SU-25 getting shot down by an F-15 Eagle. It's never good when you have an enemy's aircraft able to happily go into your territory and just do damage. And this F-15 Eagle is kind of dogging around, looking to get another shot off at this helicopter squadron here. Misses, though. And this position has been completely dominated right now by Team 4chan. A 6-man push, doing very well. We have leadership here from Saga saying, find command. And that's exactly what's happening. A single Chieftain Mark 10 moving through the woods trying to find this command. Because if they grab the command and they put their own in, they can start rallying from here. This is a rally point after all. And the red arrow indicates a air path, which means the enemy will not be able to rally air units, but 4chan will. Where is this plane going to crash? Is it crashed off map? Dear God. And it's going to be there for the entire time. Off map crashes are always fun. There's 2 of them actually. There's another one right here. It's a weird thing about the engine. I would call it a bug, but other people would say this is working as intended. And these tank battles are just absolutely lush. If you have time, just look at the replay for this. You can download it at Bert Turgeston's replay website, and it's just absolutely lush and beautiful. In the meantime, this position has been dominated, has been taken over. It looks like a command will be coming in to grab this location. Look at this great location on this. Just barely on the inside. Barely! And completely invisible. So now we're going to see some commands coming out here. Captain Fujiwater actually going to go ahead and do this. And oh, a Phantom Bomber. Oh, unpredictable. I wonder where he's going to go for. Now, it's kind of funny because there's probably not intending this to go in this direction. Actually, yes, he is. He's going straight for the command. He's totally going for the command. Oh my God, but he's stunned. One more book shot should do it. Gets it. Will it crash in a good location? No, it does not. It never crashed. I've only seen, in a year of Wargame AirLand Battle, I've only seen one time, and it was kind of crazy when it did. I only saw one time where an aircraft landed on top of something and killed it. It was crazy cool, but it only happened once. So that flank has been pushed out. They can continue pushing on down here into the vector, and I think the severity is starting to come in here. More people are rallying it, more units, and they're starting to realize like we need to defend this. Now this is actually a pretty great location for an ambush. You can put AT infantry here and here, and as they're coming down the road, they can get side shots off, and they will one-shot a lot of very heavy tanks. Now on the other flanks, there's a little bit of a failure here by 4chan. They really need to push. This is the only flank they're pushing right now. It's not really a flank right now. It's all defensive units, and actually a command coming in here are going to try and plant itself here to increase the bleed, which is currently +6 and will be higher momentarily. On the southern flank, it's still not very good. There is a command here that's about to get wiped out. Only 1 hit point left on it, and they really just need to push up with tanks and stuff, because when 6 people push one side, that means that there's only 4 people for the rest of this. This is only 4 people. Now, they do have the combined aircraft, this is true, but if you push with enough units, 2 or 3 people here, 1 or 2 people here, you can do some pretty big damage. You don't need 6 people defending a 6-man push. If you have 3 or 4 people entrenching, you're fine. Now, that's just not the case right now. It is currently a 400-point game right now for 4chan with a 300-point lead. These SE-24s have been around for quite a while, but it looks like they're all going to get gunned down. 1 goes down. SE-24s continuing overhead have been very effective at knocking out radar-guided weaponry, but it looks like F-15 Eagle, just too good, knocks down every single one of those units. So unfortunately did knock out a lot of anti-air, but will not have much effectiveness. There's just too much air spam right now. And here comes the push. Bradley IFB taking a 1 hit, a beating. Bradley IFB, of course, a unit favorite in the community. It was kind of a leader in the original Wargame Cup, but has kind of fallen in use and value, and will continue to push in, however, with Chieftain Merkens leading the charge. T-88, going to get some decent side shots. Oh my God, look at this. This just ruins his day. Rent's actually coming in with Leopard 2s from a distinct flank. So Leopard 2 is actually going to be able to get some great side shots out here, knocking out all the vehicles, all the commands, getting a unique perspective on vision, and unfortunately, this point has been not only neutralized, but captured, and this is allowing the Tornadoes to come in and do some back attacks and some really weird flanking maneuvers, and able to kill off a lot of tanks. It also means there's no rally here. This tank ball will just continue to push through unfettered. I don't know what unfettered means, but I assume it's a bad thing because everyone always says unfettered when they say bad things. All the books are completely out of ammunition. There's a command here. They will soon have this reinforcement point. There's nothing really to stop them. No, all these FOBs are getting used. Yeah, they're being used. They're taking all these supplies, filling up these FOBs, draining them, and resupplying their tanks, which for now are out of fuel. A lot of them are, and we'll have to kind of stop. On the southern flank, we're seeing bombers being used to try and wipe the command. We'll get potentially a kill here. Napalm should burn this guy alive, yes. And that will slow down the bleeding, but unfortunately the game feels like it's over right now. Unfortunately the southern flank has needed to do something crazy, and I guess this is it. It's not very bulky though. 2 T-55s and some Conquerors. You know, not going to be very ideal. All the while, this is going to continue going on. They're resupplying. This is always kind of bold. Resupplying their at the enemy FOB, all their big heavy tanks. Chieftains continue to move, however, and they're sending in just a single chieftain and a pip odds in to get this command here. They're not over investing, and they're actually sending U-rolls to kind of spot enemy positions, which is rather interesting. There is a command right at the front, and if anything's going to lose the game, it's a command right at the front of the attack. They can't move it right now. Oh, I see. They have 2 commands. Sneaky, sneaky. And tornadoes coming in. This is the air battle we've all been waiting for. F-15 Eagles coming in. F-4F Ice. Phantom Bomber also going to come in. And we're seeing some pretty cool aerial maneuvers happening right now. The bomber will be hitting the reinforcement line. Oh, no. It's going to hit it. Yes, it will. I thought for a second that would miss. So every unit coming in will be coming in slightly weaker because of that napalm bomb. This has absolutely been a 4-chance game. This tactic, absolutely brilliant. Using the map to its strengths. They were playing this as destruction, that is, I want to kill you guys. And they did it in a very tactically consistent way. They literally went all the way around the map, taking out all the reinforcement points. And very soon, the only reinforcement point left for Team Reddit will be these middle ones, which, you know, unfortunately are not so good. And here comes a little bit of a push here. You know, trying to do whatever they can to stay in this game, but unfortunately, it's just over. 4chan absolutely winning this game. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a 3-part series. This is part 1, and you can watch part 2 on this channel, you know, right now. Hello everybody, my name is Troublmaker, and this is Wargame AirLand Battle 10v10. So this is, of course, continuation of previous match, and this is a series, Reddit versus 4chan. And so on the pack side this time, we'll have 4chan. So for pack, we have Saka, Yugoslavian, CCCRL 007, Cladboy 2, Mardo, Inthris, Gorlaw, Sharky, Ward, Raz, Rig Reaper, and Rents. And on our Reddit NATO side, we'll have Grinch, JRS Jr., LTJD, MPC 314, Captain Fuji, Wa, Tor 666, Strike Zebra, Shadow, Hunter, Uppers, and Sochi. And of course, if you remember from last time, 4chan did in fact win. So Reddit's gonna have to, you know, bring it back. So this map is rather interesting. It's very, very interesting. It's one of the few 10v10 matches I really like. So all scattered around the entire map are two like pretty symmetrical 2-point bases. So if you were to split the map in half, it would go kind of like this. It's a zigzag in which each side gets equal number of bases. And so hypothetically, if you send one man in every single direction, each person will grab a 2-point base, and you'll fight for the 1-point bases. Generally speaking, there's multiple ways this will play out. You want to fight for high point bases. This is absolutely true of any map of any place. But more often than not, this here becomes the central focus, this 1-point area, because it doesn't actually take that much to hold this, and it also doesn't take that much to stop this. You can move infantry along this mountain area and just hold AT in all these positions. The match has begun, and let's see, what kind of planes do we have coming out here? Looks like some immediate rallies of some Strellas coming out here. Yes, we have SC-24s, anti-radar fighters, and a Phantom coming in for Team Red. Oh my god, conga line of SC-24s. This is so common in 10v10, it's not even fit. You get a conga line of SC-24s, and you have them shoot down radar planes, and they do it really fast. And you kind of hope that the enemy doesn't have a lot of air fighters, and you just fly them over the enemy and kill off all of his radar fighters. By doing this, you pave the way for later on, allowing for a lot more air units to come in. Small amounts of units here coming in, mostly just air to ground type units. We saw a bomber, a phantom bomber, and now we're going to see a fighting falcon, which is in fact a pretty skirmishy type unit. It's a multi-purpose fighter. The Rockeye makes it air to ground, but it can also come in and deal these helicopters if he chooses. But he's going to play a little more passive. Doesn't want to lose that to the Tunguskas immediately. And we're going to see a little bit of skirmish here now. You're probably wondering, Troublemaker, how do helicopter skirmishes work? Now, here's how it works. The superior helicopter, these guys, should stay in the air doing as much damage as they humanly can. They shouldn't drop simultaneously because with these rocket pods, they can stun. Once they do drop, they can move in and salvage that position. By staying in the air, as long as they did, they got rid of the infantry, and these Pumas are forced to retreat because they cannot fight this force, because Strela is coming. This gave 4chan a sizable advantage. Some Humvees coming in here, and there's a single unit here getting picked off. Great use of skirmishing units. Pact are not particularly known for their helicopters. Helicopters and Pact are... they're more expensive for an equal amount. Thunderbolt going to run into a lot of anti-air units, though. Pact are your push and hold faction. Pact, they will push a long distance and they will hold it. NATO are a defend and push. They will defend a big push and then they'll push back. All their units are designed around that sort of focus, and we have some special ones coming in here. The Specialny Jayonotsky. Notki. There's no S in there. And they're the special ones, and they will be providing recon cover for the southern flank. And it looks like a little more passive play here from 4chan. Not going to go for a big all-in again. You can only do a big all-in like that once. And instead, this time they're playing purely on tactics, purely on position. They're grabbing all the positions of the map, and they're using air to try and cover now. They're using these MiG-21s as kind of a frontline unit. These are your Category C units. They're very, very close range dogfights, but they're very cheap. So you can lose them in exchange for a lot. And, ooh, not wanting to lose these guys caught in the open. Gazelle coming to provide recon for what? Who knows? The only thing he'll recon here is death and destruction. And so far, once again, 4chan getting a pretty good lead. This time it's a little bit reversed. They've been able to grab all the 2-point bases, and they're actually completely ignoring these 1-point bases. If you look at just really quickly on this map, there's tons of forces here from Reddit trying to grab this hill, trying to grab these bases, and focusing on the 1-point bases. They've ignored this. There's 2 people here from Team Reddit grabbing this. Might even be a 3rd person here. Team 4chan is just focusing on the 2-point bases. They're using bulk to their advantage. They're going to ignore the 1-point bases and grab for 2-point bases. Why does that work? Well, every one of these is, or 2 of these is worth 1 of these. So if you can push up and grab 2 of these, it's equal to this. If it takes 2 people to grab these, you have 2 extra people here, it evens out. The difference is that you have bulk on your side, so you can attack in and get more stuff. Whereas here, you don't have bulk on your side. You can only defend. You only have defensive type units because that's what you plan for. And so this is a situation that's designed around gaining ground on the push. This is just designed about defending. And, you know, 4chan is playing to the strengths of the Pact very well here now. A little bit of sloppy play here. Saga going to lose a lot of units to this Sea Cobra, which is one of the more potent of the helicopters in the game. Very, very strong. And it looks like there's going to be a small push. Now I say small for 10v10. It's quite large in any other game, and there's maybe not enough units to defend this. Just look at the great positions here on these T-64s. He has great angles here. He's going to be able to get some side shots. These T-64s, unfortunately, will fall down. And what is he getting out here to oh my god, why not? Why not? Raven, anti-radar fighter also coming in here, and the conga line just coming in, knocking out some air units. And he might be able to, after all of these anti-air units are gone, come in here with a bombing run. That could be an easy way for 4chan to take this. Now, 4chan is +7 right now, which is very, very good. Reddit needs to place more bases because they do have the ring. They should take that advantage, and they also need to push. I mean, these 2-point bases are being fulfilled with more commands, and it will get controlled very quickly. Now, this push looks like it can do some pretty good damage here. There's actually not much on terms of ground forces to actually defend this. Mostly just helicopters and a few T-64s. It's not going to take too much from them to push through this. They can even just run into the Abrams, use it to soak the damage, and then just come in with the rest of their forces. They're playing very slow and consistent. The SAS is in position to try and spot some cheapy stuff. And yes, Abrams coming in. Misses all around. There is, of course, a ridge here. This is a scary place to walk into. You don't become visible until this location. So anything that comes down this crazy slope, and it is a crazy slope. Look at this bloody thing. They just instantly die to all this stuff. And simultaneously, anything that comes across here can also just instantly die. So it's a very volatile situation to run into. Looks like they're going to try and use their air advantage to try and pick off some units. Harrier will go down to the double Tunguska, because Tunguska is so good. On the northern flank here, we're noticing small moves, small push-ups. I mean, 4chan's playing very slow, very deliberate, very predictable. We have a call of WTF by Shadowhunter, because, man, really, guys, we let them take Vector. That happened. This is happening to us again. And look at these Megs just able to go behind enemy lines. Just that daring. And realistically right now, this is a kind of a crappy position. He's got the SAS moving in. If he can get them across a bit, he'll be able to provide a little bit of vision. And vision, of course, is very important. What did he spot here exactly? Looks like he's got the T-64 BVI line scouted. So that's kind of problematic. And Yugoslavian, in fact, notices the SAS and says, look, man, they know I'm here. Okay? This is going to be a bad time. So he's calling for a little bit of help. And there's more counter recons going to come in here. Looks like Jager's on Bulker coming here. The Spetsnaz actually almost completely using all their napalm. Spetsnaz are basically the king of the infantry units. Has that RPO wrist, which is just such a sick napalm bomber. Or napalm launcher, sorry, napalm grenade launcher. Devastates infantry. So they've been using those super cost effectively. Going to the north of the map now, things have slowed down pretty well. They're holding onto their bases and they have +13. So momentarily there will basically be nothing that Reddit can do. And this wasn't a match that was won with like a cheesy play. I have to admit how 4chan won last time was very cheesy. I was surprised if they could play packed at all. And here we are in game 2 out of 3. And the 4chan have done it. They've grabbed the map. They've played the map. They played to the strengths of the map and the strengths of their faction. And they've done very well with that. There obviously will not be a game 3 in this series. 4chan unfortunately has destroyed Reddit, and it's back to the drawing board for Reddit. And of course, if you're a Redditor like me, you know there are lots of options. Reddit has a comment on decks thread that comes out every week, which you can post your threads and your decks, and they will comment on it. You can watch various videos of people clobber stomping people during the Steam sales newbies. That's like 75% of the content, actually. And of course, then there's all sorts of screens and kills, and there's even a few people doing tutorials and guides. So the Reddit community is strong in some ways, but not in the actual game. Reddit goes down without a fight. It's actually kind of shocking. So yeah, that was the first 2, and probably the only 10v10s I'll do on my channel. There's a lot of stuff going on. There's a lot of micromanagement. Trying to cover the tactics best I can. But yeah, these maps are predictably giant and huge. So until next week, my name is Troublmaker, and I will see you guys next Friday.